Alright, it's your boy Trey Cross, and I'm back. I'm ready to rock. I hope you are. Let's get it. It's time to tackle these chords. Now, let me tell you something that's crazy, right? Every major chord has, every note has its own major chord, okay? And every note also has its own minor chord. And every note has its own diminished chord, and every note has its own augmented chord. Alright, so if you're doing the math, it's like, wow, that sounds like a lot of chords, because it's 12 notes and all of them have at least four different chords. But here's the thing, I have another formula and I have another trick that I can show you to help you get this down easy and simple. Okay, so let's start with C. And remember, I told you earlier, everything is based off of the major scale. So, this formula right here will teach you all 12 of your major scales instantly. Okay? And here it is. The major scale is nothing more than 1, 3, and 5 of whatever the chord is. So if you're playing a C major chord, it is 1, 3, and 5 of the C major scale. If you're playing the F sharp major chord, then it's 1, 3, and 5 of the F sharp major scale. If you're playing the D major chord, it's 1, 3, and 5 of the D major scale. If you're playing F major, 1, 3, and 5 of the F major scale. Same thing with G, A flat, B flat. All of them are only 1, 3, and 5 of the major scale that the chord is. That's really major scales in a nutshell, with the exception of you also have inversions. We'll get into inversions in a second. Alright, so now C major chord. Alright, so now you know how to play a C major chord. Now you know how to play F major chord, B flat, A flat, 1, 3, or 5. Whatever the chord is, 1, 3, and 5 of that major scale. Okay? So, to play a minor chord, all you do is if you flatten the 3. So 1, 3, 5. So the 3 flattens 1/2 step. Bring the 3 down 1/2 step. That's your minor chord. That's C minor. Okay? So the same thing with F. So I play the F major chord. So that 3, bring it down 1/2 step. F minor. B flat. That's B flat major. Bring the 3 down 1/2 step. B flat minor. Same thing with E. Bring the 3 down 1/2 step. That's E minor. Okay. A minor. C sharp minor. E flat minor. So that's basically how you find the minor chord. So it's the same thing. Everything is based off the major scale, and not only that, but all the chords are based off the major scale and off of the major chord. So basically, you can play all your main basic chords off of the major chord. So C major, C minor. Okay. Then to get to play the C diminished, you flatten the 3 and the 5. So the 3 and the 5, you bring them down 1/2 step. 1, 2. There you go. Diminished chord. C diminished. Okay. F is the same thing. F major, bring your 3 down 1/2 step. Bring your 5 down 1/2 step. F diminished. A flat. Get your 3 and the 5, bring them down 1/2 step. A flat diminished. Same thing with G. 3, 5, bring them down 1/2 step. G diminished. half step, B diminished. It's that simple. And your last chord, for now, this chord is a kind of a rare chord. You don't really use it that much, depending on what genre you're familiar with. But the last one is augmented chord. I rarely use augmented chords, but I do use them. So based off the C major scale, C major chord, all you do is raise the 5, 1/2 step. So that's C augmented. F augmented, E, raise the 5, E augmented. It's an odd sounding chord. A flat, raise the 5, A flat augmented, E, raise the 5, E augmented, D, raise the 5, 1, D augmented. So in a nutshell, C major, C minor, raise the 3. Okay? And then you got to go back to C major. So to go to your diminished chord, you raise the 3 and the 5 1. Okay? C diminished. And then go back to the major chord so you don't get confused and raise the 5 for your C augmented chord. So C major, C minor, C diminished, C augmented. Okay? A flat major, A flat minor, A flat diminished, A flat augmented. That's basically it. Those are your basic fundamental chords in a nutshell. One more thing I want to add. I want to add inversions. Okay, so you can invert your chords, but the way you do it, first of all, inverting chords is basically just playing your notes in a different order. So with your C major chord, so if I wanted to play it with, I can take the C and put it up top. It's still a C major chord. Okay. Or I could take the G and put it down at the bottom. It's still a C major chord. So that's what an inversion is. It's basically playing the same chord in a different order. Okay. So with that being said, however many notes are in your major chord, that's how many times you can invert it, or different ways you can play it. So if you play, this is called a triad. A triad is a 3-note chord. So if it's a triad, you can play it 3 different ways because it has 3 notes. You can play this way, which is the root, and the root chord always has the root note because the root note is the name of the chord at the bottom. So the root, you know it's the root chord when the root note is at the bottom. Typically your thumb, if you're playing the chord right. Okay? So you can play it this way, you can play it this way, this way. So the first way you can invert this chord is putting the C at the top. We call that the first inversion. The way you know that this is the first inversion is the root note is at the top. So the top is always first. Okay? So that's the way you can remember it. The top is first. First inversion. Root note at the top. Top is first. First inversion. Okay? The second inversion is with the root note in the middle. So you think about it. It's in the middle. It came second, so it's in the middle. Second inversion. That's how I remember it. Okay? So it's the same thing with your minor chord. It's the same thing with your diminished chord. It's the same thing with your augmented chord. Okay? Same thing. Same principle. Alright. I'll see you in the next video.